Hey out there, all you gorgeous mannequins. It's time yet again for an installment in this series that I like to call Artist Advice, where I just walk around at night and play public domain music in the background, and I don't edit these videos. Even if there was a 55-person bus crash on the road right beside me where 55 people screamed and flailed out and all their burning entrails were flopping all over, I wouldn't edit that out, because I think when you're giving your expertise and your thoughts and your candor, it's very important not to edit. It's very important to give raw, unfiltered talk. So these videos, for obvious reasons, are not edited, and that's why I have to talk over these gosh dang cars. Anyway, so tonight's episode of Artist Advice is directed a little more on the music side of things than on the comics side of things. The previous two videos in this quasi-series were mostly about my experiences in the comics aspect, but tonight I'm talking music. So, I was inspired to make this video because I watched a video from a YouTuber called Venus Theory. Now, Venus Theory's whole deal is making guides about like generic EDM. So if you want to make music that's extremely bland and carbon copy and sounds just like every other music out there, without vocals even, he mostly covers like the type of public domain royalty free type shit you hear on like beats to study and relax to and stuff. You know, it's not exactly like the most wild or interesting music. When he makes videos on that kind of angle, all the samplers and presets, and essentially if you just want to like have a complete digital audio workstation experience without any real instruments or real human emotion, you want to sound like a robot, that's the type of music that Venus Theory typically covers, which I would kind of hesitate to even call like music, because it's not like anyone is going to remember it. But at any rate, so I was watching this video about Submit Hub, where in effect Venus Theory posits a hypothetical scenario where you pay Submit Hub, the terrible music curation website, $50 to get your music onto some trashy music blog that none of these music blogs these days even like give a shit. They don't even go in like depth. They don't even give extensive coverage. They'll just be paid like $10, $50, you know, and then they'll just review an album and go like, oh well, this album is truly the bee's knees, and then it's like, you know, 5 words, and it's really low effort shit. And I think this is rotten. I think this is why a lot of people don't take journalism in general seriously, but especially music journalism, is if you pay journalists, that corrupts journalism. That corrupts the point of journalism. Journalism should be motivated by legitimate curiosity, a legitimate intrigue. If you're interested in something, you should write about it. You shouldn't write about it just because you're getting paid to write about it. I think that's a legitimately scummy tactic. So this video about Submit Hub, gosh, 14th is busy tonight. This video about Submit Hub, Venus Theory posits this hypothetical scenario where you pay Submit Hub $50 for premium credits, which you don't even need to do, because you can use Submit Hub for free and get pretty much just as many blogs to notice you if you just like wait a couple every 2 days or whatever. I forget exactly how the stupid Submit Hub system works, but you don't need to pay to use it, and it's not like you'll even get written about if you do pay to use it. It's basically a gambling website like Stake or Roulette. The only difference is that instead of degenerate Twitch streamers, it's all a bunch of degenerate generic EDM enthusiasts on there. But like I was saying, so gosh, why is this street light white and all the other ones are like the orange color? I notice my surroundings too much. Anyway, this video it was sort of surreal to me because I've actually used SubmitHub in the past. And I didn't use SubmitHub because I liked the website or because I even knew what it was. But there's this local blog that's been running for like 10 years. It's a pretty well-respected blog, at least from everything I understand. People kind of use it generally. I don't know how much they use it. But this blog insisted that you use SubmitHub to submit music to it. And you couldn't just email shit to this guy. He's like, you gotta use SubmitHub. So I didn't know what SubmitHub was, obviously. This was about 2021, so like 2 years ago. So I was like, okay, I'll use this stupid website. You know, I prefer email. I prefer just sending my songs to people via email. That seems a lot easier and less convoluted. But okay, I'll use this SubmitHub website. And like, goddamn, this website was just insufferable, and it was really boring, and it was crap. So actually, I didn't have to pay to submit music to this guy. He actually just like accepts shit for free, but he just demands that you do it via SubmitHub, which is really stupid, and limits the amount of artists who are willing to go through with this whole fucking dog and pony show. But I did it, and I didn't have to pay anything. I was just like, okay, you want me to submit via SubmitHub? Here you go. So half a week later, this asshole is just like, never contact me again. I don't want your music. Fuck you. Never speak to me again. And that was the moment I just realized, like, well, fuck this shit. You know, fuck this. And it's not like I kept using SubmitHub, because it's not like this website can even be used as a resource, because it's just full of a bunch of generic EDM sludge enthusiasts who don't appreciate competent music, you know? And that's just like the truth of it. That's just the long and short of it. So when all is said and done, I didn't even use this fucking website because it was trash. And I wasn't gonna get my career anywhere just fucking waiting for the little credit meter or whatever to fill up all day. That's not a productive use of my time. And I'm sure this website would love you to believe that it's a productive use of your time, but it's really not. Like, in that time, I could be, hanging up posters for a new concert, contacting actual venues to get booked for a real concert, selling my tapes to people in person or through the mail instead of this SubmitHub garbage, right? But the hypothetical scenario that Venus Theory posits at the opening of his video, where this hopeful musician pays like $50 fucking to SubmitHub? Like, who the fuck does that? Maybe Venus Theory did, maybe he's embarrassed about it, but I cannot imagine for the life of me paying $50 fucking to this garbage of a website that doesn't adequately, like, it's not a good way to get noticed or picked up by any kind of algorithm or anything. I can't imagine a majority of SubmitHub users get anywhere. It's like just a bunch of cocaine addicts, It's not going to be a productive use of your time to use SubmitHub, right? So, right off the bat, I don't really understand this video, because it's like, this website is going to break your heart. But when this one asshole who insisted that I create a SubmitHub account just for his sake, when this one asshole rejected me, I wasn't like heartbroken, because I know that he just has shit taste, and he's not a very good curator of music, and he's a corrupt music journalist who doesn't understand Denver music, even though he purports to, and he's not adequately in touch with the current scene. And so I wasn't heartbroken at all. The only way that I'm heartbroken about my experience with SubmitHub is that now I have a Google result for my SubmitHub profile where I uploaded a couple songs, and that's embarrassing, and that's gonna haunt me for the rest of my life. But I sure as fuck aren't embarrassed that I got rejected by some moron who has no idea what he's talking about and is missing out on the big new sound that Denver has to offer because he's so busy navel-gazing that he doesn't notice the entire musical landscape shifting radically around him. So, all this is to say, really, that I guess the moral of the story is, don't be discouraged if music journalists don't seem to care about you. I'm coming at this from a very unique perspective because I'm both a musician and a music journalist. So I have both the experience of covering bands that I actually like. I don't fucking use Submit Hub. If I like a band, I'll cover them. And if someone says, hey, I want you to cover me, then, you know, I will cover them. If someone says, hey, my music is good, you should give it a listen, you should try it out, give it a try, check it, then I will, because I want to, of my own volition, you know? And that's how the journalism space gets healthier, is through legitimate interest in giving a shit. But I've been rejected a lot by music journalists because my music is legitimately interesting. It's legitimately unique. It doesn't sound like other music. I hear from people all the time with competent taste in music, but who don't happen to be music journalists who have the capability to get my music out there. Just general music consumers say, wow, Nick, your songs are so fucking different. You're so different from every other sound out there. Your sound is so ridiculously unique. It's so new. I never hear anything like it. You're going to be the savior of Denver music. You're going to single-handedly take this city out of the gutter and do something interesting with it and spice it up. But people like this blogger who rejected my music aren't going to spice Denver up any. They're not going to save Denver from irrelevancy. They're only going to exacerbate that problem. So, I guess my main advice would be, don't use Submit Hub, and don't worry what music journalists think. Because if you spend less of your time fucking around with music journalists who don't give a shit, and you spend more time promoting your music to actual fans who actually do care about your stuff and what you have to offer, then you'll just jam yourself into relevancy. People won't be able to ignore you. I know that might sound kind of cynical, especially coming from a music journalist, but I have to be honest and lay the cards out on the table here. There are a lot of asshat music journalists who don't know good music if it slaps them in the fucking face, and I'm glad I'm not one of them. I try and be as in touch as possible with Denver music because there's a lot of figures like this guy. I won't name him, obviously, but, you know, real scuzzball. Just a real, like, corrupt, greasy, mafioso type character who just takes a bunch of... just takes a real disastrous dump all over Denver, you know? You know what I'm saying? Just like... a real fuzzball, just not the type of person you want to get involved with at all as an up-and-coming musician. I would not recommend that. I'm about out of recording time, and I don't really want to splice two videos together because it kind of defeats the purpose of artist advice, which is to be unedited aside from the public domain music in the background. But yeah, this episode is just kind of about music journalism. Submit Hub is a fucking stupid website. Just don't use it. Do something different. Do something interesting and new, and find a different way to market your music besides just submitting it to this dumb website that is like a slot machine, but like for music promotion. What a weird fucking idea. Just, you know, promote your music some way that's never been seen before, and you'll stand out from the crowd. People will actually notice and give a shit. And also, you know, gauge your music journalists, because some of them legit suck, and here in Denver, a lot of them legit suck, and have no fucking idea what they're talking about. And me, if I cover a band, I'm not getting paid to do that. And I try and be as uncorruptible as possible. And just the other day, one of my pals who's in a band, she's like, we can't give you any advance copies of this album that we're putting out soon. And I was like, fuck yes, don't give me any advance copies, don't give anyone any advance copies. That's a scummy tactic. Don't pay me, don't bribe me, don't give me any special privileges over the average listener just because I happen to be a music journalist who can adequately transcribes the feeling, adequately get across the feelings of listening to an album onto paper or onto film or whatever. Don't give me any special privileges just because I'm a journalist. And always keep in mind that as a journalist, I could be a fucking scumbag. That's very important to keep in mind, especially as a musician. My tongue is falling apart. But that's it for this episode of Artist Advice. Gosh, Denver Botanic Gardens is pretty. It's a beautiful spot. Anyway, yeah, that's it. Just, think about where you submit your music. Don't fucking use Submit Hub. And I wouldn't recommend Venus Theory's videos unless you make generic EDM. But if you do, who knows? Maybe you'll learn something. But you'll probably learn more about the music business from me. Someone who actually, makes a shit ton of music, constantly, on a constant freaking basis, because my mind is just fucking incinerating every single second, You'll probably learn more about music production from me, but, and also Venus Theory has, hundreds of thousands of subscribers, so it's not like he needs it, but, I don't know, some of his videos are okay. I just thought the Submit Hub one was kind of funny. That's all for Artist Advice tonight. Look at this green wall. Isn't that cool? I live in Denver too much.